My name is Dennis McDonald, and I'm the athletic director here. It's my third year. And when I first came on board, one of the things that we were hoping to do was to have a banquet such as this for the Hall of Fame inductees. And it materialized because of a ton of hard work by some great people. And so before I go much further, I want to make sure that I recognize Philip Dowden, who is right now running around hard trying to figure out the sound issue with all this work that he's put into these videos. So when you see him, please shake his hand. I would like to say that I did a lot of work here, but I really didn't. It really falls on Philip, and he's done a tremendous job of communicating with the inductees and also putting all of this together. Sarah Underwood, my administrative assistant, has also been working very hard to help organize this event. And then you're going to see a number of students that are assisting Philip. Philip would ordinarily be doing this intro right now, but he's working on sound, as I said. And so we may have to be figuring out a few things as we go through the evening. But I think the most important thing that's going to be done this evening is recognizing these fine people, and also hearing what they have to say. And so if we have a technology problem here and there, then we'll work with that and we'll work through it and still have a great evening. I got to tell you, this is a very, very special evening for me personally. My wife, Shannon, is here, which is great to have her. Why don't you wave real quick? She supports me so much in the work that I do day in and day out, and didn't know I was going to do that. But the inductees, several of the people I haven't met, but others I have. I have a great friend who is being inducted this evening. Actually, I have two great friends that are being inducted. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but it's a special honor for me to be here for that. We sweated, we bled, we knocked each other's, well, he knocked my head off at practice, and it's a special honor. And then I have another special honor because I was a coach here when one of the inductees was playing football. And what a tremendous gentleman, and wow, what a great athlete. So it's a great honor for me. And then my fishing buddy is being inducted this evening as well. And Dr. David Stair and I have a great history together of playing tennis many years ago, and a little bit of badminton, and we've fished together, and we've known each other a good long time. And I think this is what your 50th Hall of Fame induction of some sort. I don't know how many he's in now, but so it's a great honor. It's also a great honor for me to introduce to you the president of our university, Dr. Carol Taylor. I've always said that great leaders are able to take complicated issues and simplify them to the core and identify what needs to be done to improve, and then work very, very hard to make those things happen. And I believe that Dr. Taylor has those skills. It's an honor to work for you, Dr. Taylor, and it's an honor to introduce you to greet everyone this evening. So if you could take a moment and please welcome Dr. Taylor.
So it's always a little bit dangerous when you're invited to say a few words and you realize the only thing between your few words and dinner is like this. Right? We have a wonderful dinner at both sides. You have desserts that well, actually some of you I can see have already sampled them. That's good. I do just want to add my gratitude that you would come and join us this evening and allow us to celebrate you. This is really a very special place, isn't it? And as one who is also a graduate of Evangel, it was my delight to be able to return and give back and serve what is my alma mater as well. One of the greatest delights I had in coming back to this great campus was, well, first of all, discovering that the campus had changed. So how many of you remember a campus that was full of barracks, right? And not exactly the classroom facilities and other facilities that we have today. But what I treasured most in coming back to Evangel was discovering what I think of as the deep DNA of our institution that is unchanged. The same thing that I experienced as a student, that you had experienced as a student here, was this deep belief that every student who is here with a call of God on his or her life. And at this institution, our goal, our call, is to help students live into that so that they are served not just while they're here, but across a lifetime. And in fact, if you have looked at the new tagline of the university, that's exactly what we're proclaiming: your calling, our passion. We continue to be here and exist to serve men and women with the goal of producing men and women that will be the presence of Christ in the world in every area. Believing strongly that men and women are called absolutely to be pastors and church leaders and missionaries, but we believe just as deeply in the call to men and women who are called to be the presence of Christ in the marketplace, as business leaders, as educators, as those in public service working in for-profit and non-for-profit organizations. If you've been watching and donating to Convoy of Hope, as they have been in Houston and Florida, and they were actually on their way to Puerto Rico before the latest storm hit there. Those Donaldson brothers are products of this university as well. And so we love every opportunity that we have to meet alumni and hear their stories and how God is using them in the marketplace and in the church to be his presence in the world today. I could stand here all evening and share stories with you. That is not what you want to hear right now. What you really want is someone to ask a blessing over the meal so that we can fellowship around the table. Thank you again for being here. God bless you.
Good evening. My name is Hector Cruz. I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement. And before I pray for our meal this evening, just want to give some quick instruction on how it'll all work. We've got two lines. Both sides of each line are open. They're both the same, so you don't need to take a tour and figure out what you want to eat. They're both the same. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the front tables here. You guys will dismiss first, and once you guys have eaten, then we'll go to the second table. Football guys, basketball guys, sorry. If we let you go first, there wouldn't be any left for the rest of us. So that's just how it works. But let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, so much for your grace and for your faithfulness and for your favor. Thank you, God, for these inductees and their families that have joined us this evening. Thank you for the contribution that they've made to this university over time. We just honor them and celebrate them this evening. Let them feel how proud we are of them. I pray that you would bless the food to our bodies, bless our time together, bless the conversation, the relationships that are being developed, and just bless this evening with us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Ready to start tonight's program. I introduce myself. I'm Sports Information Director Philip Dowden and also Director of Marketing here at Evangel. I've emailed with a lot of our dignitaries and Hall of Fame inductees tonight, a lot of the student athletes here. I've interacted with you all on a day-to-day basis, and coaches past and present. I enjoy working with you guys all on a day-to-day basis. This is one of the best parts of my job, is seeing everybody grown and accomplished. It's a lot of fun to watch the games, but to see what young student athletes become is a special part. Going through our Hall of Fame banquet, we created a committee last year, and that committee put together an incredible Hall of Fame class last year, and this year is equally as good. Some of the numbers that the Sports Information Office, we were able to pull: 11 All-American honors, 3 national champions, and that includes the 1986 women's basketball team that will also be inducted in February, along with Katarzyna Dydek. More than 20 records held or broken at the time, 6 6 NAI postseason tournament appearances, and 1 Olympian. At this time, we're going to start with our first inductee. She's not able to be here, but I want everyone to be able to see who is so affectionately known as Kashka. I wasn't able to meet her, but Kashka Dydek.
Katarzyna Dydek helped bring Evangel women's basketball to national prominence in the mid-90s. Her first honors came in 1994 when she was named the Heart of America Athletic Conference Player of the Year and Newcomer of the Year. Kashka went on to be a 3-time All-American at Evangel and 2-time Conference Player of the Year. The Crusaders reached the NAIA Final Four for the first time in program history in 1996 after winning the conference championship and finishing 33-5. During the 1996 season, Kashka appeared in Sports Illustrated Faces in the Crowd after setting the NAIA record for blocked shots in a season with 188, a record that still stands today. After leaving Evangel, Kashka was able to bring another distinction to the Crusaders as the first Olympian in program history playing for her home country of Poland in the 2000 Olympics.
Again, that's Kashka Dydek. She's unable to be here. She's actually working with FIBA over in Poland, as Coach Don and Coach Leon Neal mentioned to me. They've been in contact with her. We're trying to get her over here in February to honor her for a well-deserved honor, as you guys can tell. With that being said, we'll go ahead and get started with our first inductee that's present here tonight.
A name recognized near and far with Evangel University and thought of as one of college athletics' top leaders, Dr. David Stair served as the longest-tenured athletic director from 1982 to 2014 at Evangel. In addition to serving as an administrator, he coached women's basketball and women's tennis and served as chair of the physical education department from 1999 to 2007. Transforming Evangel intercollegiate athletics through the last 3 decades, he revived track and field and added men's golf, cross-country, softball, and soccer. Among his proudest achievements included numerous missions trips with baseball, football, softball, and volleyball teams to places such as China, Guatemala, and Mexico. Admired by his peers near and far, Dr. Stair was named the Central Region Athletic Director of the Year in 2004, 2001, and ADA Male Administrator of the Year in 1995, as well as a member of the NACDA Hall of Fame, NAIA Hall of Fame, Springfield Area Sports Hall of Fame, and the Berwick Bulldogs Hall of Fame in his hometown of Berwick, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming now Evangel Hall of Famer, Dr. David Stair.
Dr. Stair, let me invite you to the stage, please. You have more guts than I do to step up on that side. Dr. David Stair enshrined into the Evangel Hall of Fame on September 22nd, 2017 for outstanding contributions to the university and athletic department as an administrator and coach. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. McDonald. This is quite an emotional time for me tonight. It was 34 years ago that we inducted Dr. Don Pearson as our first inductee into the Crusader Athletic Hall of Fame. And Doc was the person who hired me here, told me to sell my snow tires because it never snowed in Springfield, and was a mentor and a good friend for many years. I'd like to thank all of you for coming tonight. This is an outstanding occasion that was put together by Philip and Sarah and Dr. McDonald, and I'd like to thank you on my behalf and my family's behalf for this occasion. It's an honor, and I'd like to thank the committee for naming me to the Sports Hall of Fame. Actually, I'm on the committee. So it's a little embarrassing because they snuck it in the one meeting that I missed, and the next meeting it was one of those, oh, by the way, you're one of them. So thank you, committee, for this honor. Doc gave me the opportunity to join the faculty at Evangel in 1976. And then in 1982, President Spence took a chance on naming me as the athletics director here at Evangel. And although he can't be here tonight, I'd like to thank him for that opportunity, and also for the way that he supported me through the years as I attempted to do a good job in that role. He was very supportive in my being involved in both the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics and the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics, which helped us as a department stay on the cutting edge of all the stuff that comes down the pike related to athletics legally and in every other way. So I'd like to thank Dr. Spence for his support all those years. It's a real honor to be inducted alongside Ken and Otis and Bryan and Dan and Koshka. I can still remember going to China with Otis and the fun 3 weeks we had there with the football team. Koshka, when she was introduced for the first time to visiting teams, and she walked, all 6'7" of her walked out on the court, and everybody's eyes just kind of bugged out. And when we told them that she had a taller younger sister, they really panicked. But we never could get her to come to Evangel. But anyway, you all are so talented as far as athletes here at Evangel, and I'm so honored to be being put into the Hall of Fame with you. So many people supported me during my career. I could never name them all, but my wife Carol, of course, is here tonight, and I appreciate all of her support over the years. My daughter Pam, whose daughter Anna is here tonight at my table, and my son David all put up with the many hours that it took to earn advanced degrees, coach, attend athletics events here at Evangel, and on and on. The coaches and staff of our athletics department were such an honor to work with and are like family to me. A lot of them are here tonight. And again, thank you all for coming. I sure appreciate that. It really didn't seem like work because all of the good times that we had together, and great memories. Without them and the wonderful student athletes that we had over the years, I would not be standing here tonight, that's for sure. I miss looking out there and seeing my good friend and longtime SID, Dave Fillmore. A lot of you knew him. He left us way too soon. But thank you, Kevin, and then Philip, for stepping in and doing a great job in that role, carrying on the legacy that Dave left in the SID department. And thank you, Philip, for your hard work here tonight. It was my privilege to work with two outstanding administrative assistants. Many of you wouldn't have known Glenna Donaldson. She was killed in a tragic automobile accident coming to work here at Evangel. She helped me greatly in the transition from my being a coach and a professor to becoming the athletics director. She was the administrative assistant in the athletics office when I took over. And then a lot of you knew Faye Little, who took over in the office after Glenna's death. And she worked very tirelessly, wearing so many hats and keeping all of us organized, so I owe so much to her. And I would be remiss if I didn't include Ann Steckety, although she was technically the kinesiology administrative assistant. Unfortunately for her, her desk was very close to mine and to Faye's, and she ended up having to bail us out a number of times in helping us in getting some jobs done. So Ann, thank you for your help too. Dr. Burnett wasn't able to join us tonight, but I worked for him for many years as the administrator who had athletics in his portfolio, and he was always so supportive, and I appreciate him. Paul and Kay Logston are also at our table. They're longtime friends. Paul was very helpful for many years in supporting our program by getting us exposure in many publications both around campus and around the world. And I was really surprised to see Jan and Lynn Bowen here tonight all the way from Colorado. Coach Bowen coached here for many years, and we coached together. We coached women's basketball together. And I think we have the distinction of operating the first sports camp here at Evangel in the summer. We started a camp for girls basketball players. There was not any kind of camp in the area for women's basketball players at the time. So we did that in the summer, and it was highly successful, and we had a great time. And finally, I'd like to thank Dr. Taylor and Dr. McDonald for carrying on the proud tradition of Evangel athletics. I'm excited for the future as we hear of plans for new facilities and see the progress that's already being made. I'm excited to see the athletes who are here tonight. I appreciate you guys taking time from your busy schedule to come and observe this event and hopefully get a good meal. But our prayers are always with you, that as you are the future of Evangel athletics, that you will do us all proud. So thank you, Dennis and Shannon, for honoring me by sitting at our table this evening, and thank you for making this a memorable evening. Again, thank you all for attending, and go Crusaders.
From the small town of Hurley, Missouri, Daniel Cutbirth was clutch in some of the biggest moments in Evangel basketball history. Helping Evangel win the 2002 NAIA National Championship, he was also named the tournament's most outstanding player. Daniel earned first-team All-Conference honors all 4 years and was a 3-time NAIA All-American. He was the Hart Freshman of the Year in 1999 and the Player of the Year in 2002. He set and still holds the career scoring average at 17.4 points per game and also holds the record for best free throw percentage. One of just 3 players to score more than 2,000 points, he helped Evangel win 2 conference championships as the Crusaders won 93 games during his 4 seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming Evangel Hall of Famer Daniel Cutbirth.
Daniel, if you come to the stage, please. Daniel Cutbirth, enshrined into the Evangel Hall of Fame on September 22nd, 2017 for outstanding contributions to the university and athletic department in the sport of basketball. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir. First and foremost, I'd like to sincerely thank the committee for even considering or thinking me of this recognition. It's very meaningful and one of the most personal honors I've ever received as an individual. I'm extremely proud and honored and humbled in the same sense. It just like Bryan and I were talking about earlier, it just seems just like a few days ago we're in here having pregame meals and having dinners here in the CAF, and you look up and it's 15 years later and you're going into the Hall of Fame, which is a great thing, but it also is a reminder of we're getting old. But I think back at Evangel as far as the school and the university, and especially now that I'm a parent and I'm a father and I'm in the real world working, the character and the morals that this place instilled in me, is still, stand firm and walk on a daily basis. And, I'm very appreciative of what I learned, not only as an athlete, but just as a student, and Evangel helped mold me into a great man. And, I'm very appreciative of that. They ask us to share a few stories about Evangel, and it's funny, as a player, I've got a few memories that I have as an individual, as a player, but it's just a vast memories as a team and as a unit. Unit is what things I remember, but I never forget the first time I come to Evangel University on campus. Coach Jenkins invited me up for a tryout, and I'd already tried out to some other schools and played well at the other places, and I come here and I was awful. It was horrible. I couldn't make a shot, and I remember leaving and thinking, he's not going to want me. He's not going to want me to come back. And he called me and said, hey, why don't you come back up? And I come back the second time, played a little better, and he invited me into his office, and we sit there and talk for a little bit. And him and Rhonda had made chocolate chip cookies the night before, and they had a big old platter. And, of course, they were probably the best chocolate chip cookies I ever had. And I was like, yep, that's the place I need to go. Because that man likes food and I like to eat, so that's where I need to go. I remember my first points first bucket as a Crusader, and I remember my last. And it's funny because me and Osterloh both ended on dunks as our career in the national championship. And I was like, that's couldn't end it any better than that. But, the things that I cherish more than anything was the bus rides, the plane rides, traveling to Graceland, heaven forbid that awful drive, and going to Culver Stockton. But just the time that you spent with the guys, in the hotel rooms. And, as a freshman, Coach took us to Ohio, and then we went to Idaho for the national tournament. We went skiing, and I learned really quick that I'm a horrible skier. And, that's, doing those things. Those are the things that I remember. I also remember as a freshman, I started out as number 22, then I was told I couldn't have that, and then I was number 44, and I got that taken away from me. And then I finally asked Coach, I said, what number can I have? He's like, well, the only uniform we have that'll fit you is number 33. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just stick with that one then. So, but probably the most profound memory that I have at Evangel, we were 27-0 my senior year, and we go down to C of O. We'd already beat them earlier in the year, and of course I think we're starting to get the big head a little bit. And they just kicked the dog out of us. I mean, they beat us bad. And I never forget after the game, going to the locker room, Coach Jenkins and Coach Shepard coached us up, told us what we needed to do. But the thing I remember more than anything is we stayed in that locker room for about an hour, just us, just the guys. And Bryan and Anthony Moore and the rest of us, but those two led it. We kind of hashed everything out as individuals, and we kind of come back as a team. And that following week was the best practice as far as competition and intensity that I've ever been a part of in my life. And it's funny, with all the success that we've had, I remember a loss. That's the one thing that I carry with me more than anything, because I learned more from that one loss than any win that I've ever had. And I still use that as a coach. And that goes on to my next point. I'm very thankful for Coach Jenkins and Coach Shepard, because now I'm a coach myself. I've been doing it for 14 years. And people ask me, who do you emulate or who you like? And it's like, I'm just like Coach Jenkins, and I try to be like Coach Shepard. And if I ever become half the men that they are and half the coach they are, I think I'm doing all right. But those two guys have done so much for me, and I appreciate the experience they give me here while I was at Evangel. And it's funny because I'm up here being recognized for an individual award, but the thing is I never would have done any of that, because Coach Jenkins and Bryan can contest for this, is we were surrounded with great guys. I mean, our teams were always loaded. So I'm up here reaping the benefits of getting to play with great players and great guys that helped me be successful. My junior and senior year, I realized pretty quick, the more I got that man the ball sitting back there, the easier things got for me. And, I was lucky enough to play with the best Crusader of all time, which is Bryan. And, and I'm very thankful. And I'd like to thank Anthony Moore, Anthony Truesdale, Grant Curtis, Burt Capel, Wes Murphy, Judd Broxton, Brian Sukup, Preston Ingram, Mike Hawkins, Steve Richard, and Russell Johnson, and Luke Cooper. Especially Burt and Preston and Russell and Hawkins. I battled those guys every day in practice, and they made me better. And if it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't have got any better. They made me get better every day because I was afraid I was going to lose my job. And, that's what makes teams great, is having guys like that. And, of course, I'd like to thank Coach Hardy, which he was here earlier, but I think he left. He helped me so much in the physical education department, and that man made a big difference in my life as well. And I'm very appreciative of him. And, of course, my parents, who took me all over the country to practice and games. And, of course, when I got to college, coming and support me. And, I really appreciate them. And I thank you guys for that as well. So thank you, Evangel, for doing this for me. I really appreciate it.
One of the most highly decorated basketball players in Evangel history, Bryan Osterloh, helped the Crusaders reach the pinnacle of NAIA basketball, winning the 2002 NAIA National Championship. From Marionville, Missouri, Bryan collected a number of accolades as a two-time All-American, a two-time All-Conference First-Teamer, and a two-time Conference Player of the Year. His 2001 season ranks third for points scored, while his 2002 season ranks sixth. Bryan also pulled down 308 rebounds in 2002, the third best marked in school history. He is the fourth all-time leading scorer at Evangel and ranks ninth in rebounding. The Crusaders won 2 conference championships and posted a 134 record during his career. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming Evangel Hall of Famer, Bryan Osterloh.
Bryan, come join us. Bryan, you'll have to step back just a little bit so the angle is right on me looking at you, okay? Bryan Osterloh enshrined into the Evangel Hall of Fame on September 22nd, 2017 for outstanding contributions to the university and athletic department in the sport of basketball. Congratulations, Bryan. Thank you. You want to put it back there, be fine?
All right. Well, it's kind of weird to be standing up here, but it is a great honor. I want to thank Evangel for considering me for this. I never would have dreamt this day would have come, but it is truly a pleasure to be up here and share this with Daniel, great teammate. You know, I look back over my career, and back whenever I was a young boy, I kind of grew up in the glory days, or what I consider the glory days of basketball. That was when Michael Jordan was playing and the Bulls were killing everybody, and you had Karl Malone and Stockton and all the good basketball players. And I remember Sunday afternoons I'd be in there watching them, and then I'd grab my basketball and I'd go outside and I'd be dribbling and trying to make the last second shot, you know. And I just always had a love for basketball. It started probably around the time of what my son's age is, around, 12 years old or so. And so as I went into high school, I kind of grew into my body late. I was like 5'8" my sophomore year, and then by the time I was a junior, I was like 6'3". So, and then I grew a little bit more, but it was from a standpoint of learning to develop in high school, I did pretty well, and it was kind of interesting because as I went on to my senior year, had a pretty good year. Now, I was no Daniel Cutbirth, mind you. I wasn't scoring 45 points a game and Mr. All, Missouri and everything, but I was trying to, continue on my career and go to college. Well, I wasn't getting anyone looking at me. I was kind of the slower white boy from a small town. And but the good thing is I had a really good high school coach, Doug Arnold, and he believed in me. And so he started getting together tapes for me and sending them out. Went and tried out Missouri Valley, and they didn't really want me. And went down to C of O, Coach Waller. And Coach looked at me, but he didn't want anything to do with me either. And luckily, reached out to Coach Jenkins, and Coach Jenkins invited me up, so I came up and played. And lo and behold, I think that's the best basketball I ever played in my life. I don't think I missed a shot the whole day I was there. And so then he invited me up again and was willing to actually take me on and let me join the team. So then as I went through college, I made some bad choices as a student athlete and got kicked out for a semester. But by the grace of God and Coach Jenkins again took another chance on me, invited me back. And then Daniel was on the team at the time. We had a lot of great guys. And as we moved into the senior year, as you're living through that moment, you don't really realize what's going on. However, one thing, as Daniel kind of touched on a little bit, our team was something special. I mean, every guy on the team knew their role. Every guy on the team knew what it took to win. And even though we had guys who were prolific scorers and guys who could do things, everyone would play their part, and it worked out amazing. And I think our record and what we were able to accomplish shows that. There was a quote I came across, and it said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And I think that holds true for me. I mean, I myself, I don't even know if I ever believed in myself as much as I could have or should have, but I had other people like Coach Arnold, Coach Jenkins, Coach Shep, who believed in me and took a risk on that. And I got to play with the best group of guys. I love those guys. We don't talk as much as we'd like to. Life gets busy and things happen. But I love those guys. When we see each other, just like I saw Daniel tonight, first time I've seen him in 5 years. And we just pick up right where we were. And I love those guys. We created some good memories. I'm so thankful that Evangel allowed me to be part of EU, allowed me to partake in this, and I'm just thankful for that. I want to say a special thanks to my family as well, who's here tonight, my wife, my son, and my daughter. I'm glad you guys got to share this moment with me. So thank you, everyone, and go EU. Thank you.
One of the most dynamic defensive backs to ever play football at Evangel, Otis Calhoun, starred for the Crusaders from 1987 to 1988. Coming to Evangel from Largo, Florida, Otis earned all-area honors in 1987 despite a knee injury limiting his playing time. After recovering from the injury, Otis finished one of the best individual seasons in Evangel history, earning All-American accolades from 2 organizations in 1988. He led Evangel in kick returns in 1987 and 1988, and his 9 interceptions during the 88th season is a record that still stands today. He was also a member of the 1988 team that finished 11-1 as national semifinalists. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming Evangel Hall of Famer Otis Calhoun.
I was supposed to be up here sooner, but I couldn't stop watching. It's a great honor for me. I had a great privilege of coaching Otis, and Otis is the kind of player that makes a coach look really, really good, for sure. Otis Calhoun enshrined into the Evangel Hall of Fame on September 22nd, 2017 for outstanding contributions to the university and athletic department in the sport of football. Otis, it's a great honor.
You probably can't tell, but I'm blushing right now. I stand here tonight extremely humbled. Never could I have imagined I would be standing here, a kid growing up in Largo, Florida, as an Evangel University Hall of Famer. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the great Coach Schrader, Coach Epps, Coach McDonald, Coach Lynn, and even Betty. How many people remember Betty? All great people in my life, and a lot of the reason why I'm here tonight is because of them. I have family here from Largo, Florida, traveled here from New York, Texas. I want them to know I appreciate your love and support over the years. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my grandmothers, who taught me as a young man, and I'll never forget this quote growing up as a kid. They said, "Otis, it's hard to soar with eagles when you're flying with turkeys." And I really didn't understand it when I was a kid. I was like, what are you talking about, eagles and turkeys? I have no idea what you're talking about. But basically what they meant is the people you associate with in life that are doing good and positive things, if you associate with them, you're going to do good and positive things. If you associate with people who are not doing good and positive things, it's at your own demise. My teammates, any of my teammates here? If my teammates are here, please stand up. You guys are the eagles that my grandmother was referring to. It was an honor to play with each and every one of you. There's not a year that goes by, probably during the football season, onset of any football season, that I don't wonder how each and every one of you guys are doing. So thank you for being a part of my life. It was a very special moment. I was promoted to detective back in Tampa, and I failed to mention this, so I'm going to mention it tonight. I'm going to try to redeem myself. Vanessa Soto, they didn't mention during this ceremony, but I want you to know that you're the love of my life. And I'm honored that you're with me tonight as also. To Evangel University, you changed my life. There's a lot of eagles here. The young team I saw in the back, you really have to take advantage of the situation. Not a lot of people have this opportunity to be an Evangel University football player. It's an honor, and don't ever forget that. I respect and I wish you guys the very best in your future endeavors, and go Evangel. I appreciate you guys. God bless.
A tough, hard-nosed linebacker from Alabama transferred to the Crusaders after playing a season with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Starting on the offensive line in his first season at Evangel, Ken moved to linebacker, where he was a 2-year team captain for the 1984 and 1985 seasons, where he led Evangel in tackles each year. His play not only earned him All-American honors in 84 and 85, but received attention from NFL scouts. With a knack for finding the football, Ken ranks 4th all-time in fumble recoveries for the Crusaders. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming Evangel Hall of Famer Ken Hendrick.
This is a great honor for me as well. Ken and I played football together. Well, Ken played football. I watched him a lot. But he's a true friend of mine, and so this is a tremendous honor for me. Ken Hendrick enshrined into the Evangel Hall of Fame on September 22nd, 2017 for outstanding contributions to the university and athletic department in the sport of football. Ken.
Thank you. Great.
Let me take a breath. I'll try not to get too emotional. I'm just thankful I was still young enough to get up here without a cane or have somebody help me up here. When I heard one of the guys talking about 15 years ago, it was 35 years ago that I arrived here on campus. And first, I just want to thank, I won't refer to him as our nickname, but Dr. Peanut now, formerly known as Peanut. But it's an honor and it's special that he's here and a part of that. Also, Dr. Stair, you were here when I first arrived on campus. I want to congratulate all the other inductees. I'm just, when you talk about words of wisdom from last year, I'm not sure you're going to get very much wisdom from what I have to share. But I want to thank my family who, through technology, is at home. I want to thank my wife, Sandy, both of my children, my son, Blake, who's a naval officer serving in San Diego, my daughter, Brittany, and future son-in-law, who just recently got engaged, David. And I want to thank the committee, thank the university here. It was a pleasure meeting Dr. Taylor and spending time visiting yesterday. I'm glad this place looked a lot different 35 years ago. And this was a very unlikely destination for me because I was fairly content at the university. And for some of the young guys in the back, there was football at Alabama before Coach Saban arrived. I was fortunate to play for another legendary coach, Coach Bryan, and found out toward the end of my freshman year that he was going to retire soon. And really, growing up in Alabama, as any kid, had a desire to go to the university. I had that opportunity, but also I was conflicted because I was very blessed to be raised in a Christian home. My background in the Assemblies of God. Again, I thank my parents for establishing the foundation of my faith. I came to know Christ at a very young age, and I've not lived a perfect life, but I really haven't strayed too far away through the years. And I'm thankful for the heritage of my family. And this school was a part of that. But I remember in high school, Denny Duran coming and speaking, and our pastor arranged a meeting, and I had never honestly heard of Evangel. I'd heard of Denny because I followed his career a little bit, but I just obliged him by meeting him because I had no desire to even consider Evangel. Toward the end of my freshman year, I began to get a little bit discontent. Coach Bryan announced his retirement. And in the back of my mind, I began to pray and to really consider where I should go and finish up my career and pursue my education. And in the back of my mind, immediately Denny came to mind. And I hadn't talked to him since high school. I called him, asked if he remembered me. He said, surely. And I said, well, I'm leaving Alabama. Would love to come up and join the team if there's an opportunity. So that was 35 years ago. Again, and I'm standing here today. Again, unlikely destination, but so thankful for my experience. I'm up here individually, but this was certainly a team effort. and I've got former teammates here with me tonight. And if I could share something with the guys, I remember a pastor of the church that we attended when we were in school here, Phil Hasty. He shared with us one time that when you leave Evangel, you'll have a degree and you'll learn a lot, but the thing that you'll take away most will be the relationships and the people that you meet. And for me, I always remembered that, and that's been true. And I've got guys that have been with me, an unlikely group of guys from Wisconsin to Tampa to California to Iowa to a kid from Alabama. And Tony Dollinger and I, for whatever reason, were joined at the hip, and it seemed like when one name was mentioned, the other was mentioned. And today, kind of, maybe it was a God thing, I don't know, we were walking down the streets of downtown Branson, and there's a car with an Alabama tag and a Wisconsin tag side by side. And we just kind of laughed, and I wish Tony had this same type of opportunity here that I had, but I kind of together with Tony, because in my mind, Tony was probably, if not the best, one of the best players that ever played football here at Evangel. So with that, I thank God for the opportunity and for the experience that I've had. And guys, I'm telling you, relationships, relationships, relationships. Take them with you. God bless you. Thank you.